So let's talk about it. Let's talk about the wait for commitment that people are feeling, a little bit indecisive on how long they should be waiting for a man to commit or even a woman to commit. So what are your thoughts on that as a man?
Um, Even before me and you had got together,
Mm-hmm.
my thoughts were always like, it doesn't take 4 years, 5 years for a man to know this is the right woman for me. And typically, men, we know what we're looking for. Um, and if you don't know what you're looking for, I don't think that you should even be in search of a commitment. So I think for me, I always felt like if I don't know within the first year that this is a person I want to be with for a long time, after a certain age, I think when you're young, it's a little different.
Mm-hmm.
But when you get to like your 25, 26-year-old age, mid 20s, and starting to look at your 30s, I think you should have an idea of what you want in a woman. And you should know right away, to me, that, it should take no longer than a year, in my opinion, to know like this is the woman for me or this is not the woman for me. And right away. I think a lot of times it gets confusing because people stay in dating situations and relationships because just out of like the need of wanting that or the want of having to have somebody around. And I think that makes it confusing for people. Like, well, he told me that he likes me, and it's our third year. He hasn't proposed.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, and all my homeboys that are married, we've had these discussions, and we've all kind of come to a consensus. Like, yeah, it probably take about 6 months to a year, if that, to really know. This is what I want. From a woman's perspective, how do you feel like?
So I'm glad you touched on saying like in the dating aspect because I feel like a lot of people are confused because in today's society, what's very popular
Hmm.
is situationships.
Yeah.
So let's be firm and be fair when we say we're talking as far as committing to engagement
Yeah.
from the dating process,
Hmm.
not from a
Yeah.
situationship into a dating. A situationship is completely off the board. So we're not going to
Yeah.
speak on that because, like you said, oh, he likes me, but he hasn't proposed yet. Well, if he
Yeah.
likes you,
Even
you're
in a
not going to really
relationship,
question
though,
that.
even when in a relationship, I feel like we don't have to be boyfriend and girlfriend for 4 years for me to know if you're a good woman for me. As a
Absolutely.
man, I think that's even when we got together. One of the, that was we were always talking about, hey, do you want to be married? Like those are things that you ask in the dating process to kind of weed out people that are serious about commitments, if that's what you want, and to not. And I remember you even being like, if you haven't proposed to me in a year or two, then
Yep. And I don't think that obviously everybody's time varies. There's people who are successfully married for, 40, 50 years that maybe he didn't propose to her until
yeah,
whatever, 4 or 5 years into the relationship. Everybody's situation can vary. In my opinion, a man and a woman who've discussed these values before and prior to getting into a relationship, if you know your end goal is to get married
hmm,
and my end goal is to get married, then no, I don't think that the engagement process should be more than 2 years, in my opinion.
hmm.
I do believe that.
And when you say engagement process, you're saying added everything added together, like the dating, the where it's exclusively together, and then a proposal, all that within two
Yes,
years.
yes,
Yeah,
absolutely.
I can agree with that.
As long as you're engaged, that's up to you. I won't even speak on that. That's, because people have maybe certain, how they want their wedding to go and financial difficulties and
Mm,
X, Y, and Z. So, but as far as getting engaged and making that commitment that you want to get married, but that's a big thing is have those conversations prior to getting in a relationship because some women get in relationships with these men and then later down the line it's like, girl, I've been with him 2 years and now he's saying like he doesn't even believe in marriage or marriage is just a piece of paper
yeah,
or he doesn't want to get married.
yeah.
So know those things about your partner before you get into
Yeah,
these
you have to ask those
relationships.
questions when you dating. You collecting data, so you have to ask those questions from the time that me and her were just in a talking phase, just on the phone. Whether we started off texting and then get to a phone call stage. I think we had those conversations from the very beginning. Of, hey, are you interested in marriage? Like, is that something that you ever thought about? What's your requirements for that type of thing? We had real conversations, initially and all throughout our relationship, all throughout us dating. So we kind of knew what we wanted, and that makes everything a lot easier. It makes the process move a lot quicker, and it makes nobody everybody's on the same page at that point. Nobody's in the dark, like you said, baby. That how some people are. Oh well, I've been with him for 2 years, or he doesn't want to get married, and he doesn't believe in marriage, and that happens a lot more often than not. So
And
yeah.
don't, in my opinion, I feel like us women are scared to have these conversations.
Yeah, I think so too.
We feel that, oh, it's gonna push them away. Oh,
Mm-hmm.
is it too soon to even bring this up? It is never too soon to discuss your requirements or your standards as a woman. This is what I want
Yeah,
in my life, and if it scares him off, he was not meant for
I
you,
was gonna
baby
say that.
girl.
I was gonna say that same thing. Any
He's
man
not meant
that's
for
if a
you.
man is scared off by that, then he didn't have those intentions in the beginning, and
Absolutely.
so that's actually kind of a win for you. If a man is scared off by that type of thing, he wasn't thinking about it, and he didn't want that from the beginning. And nothing you could have did in the relationship, nothing you could have been to that man was gonna make him change that because he's not at that place. You know, my grandmother always says you got to see people, meet people where they are, not where you want them to be. So,
There's many
um,
keys to a successful relationship, but I do believe that one of them is having uncomfortable
oh
conversations.
yeah,
Having
yeah.
uncomfortable conversations will save you a lot of time.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
A lot of
like he
time.
said, it's you're collecting data on this person because you need to know this person.
And not just the little BS questions like, oh, what's your favorite color? Or what kind of food do you like? We did that too, but our major, I think, in the process of us dating, our major conversations were the big things, the uncomfortable things. How do you feel? What religion are you? Um, what how do you feel about raising children?
Mm-hmm.
How do you feel about different things like that, like the real things? You know, and I think those things are the things that matter long term in a relationship. The little cute questions after a certain age, you kind of it's like, all right, I don't really care. I'll learn your favorite color later, but do you have any debt? What's your credit score? Those real uncomfortable conversations that you wouldn't ask a typical person on the street, but when you're in the process of collecting data or dating somebody, I think those are really imperative questions to ask somebody. And you also want to have the information on what their morals are because that's going to tell you how they feel about marriage. How was you raised? You know, where do you come from? What was your family like? Your family structure like growing up? How do you feel about marriage? Those things come up, and if you want to be married, I think that's a big part of the conversations that you have to have early on. You know?
Yep, I definitely agree. So I believe the wait time for the commitment is for obviously make sure that you're dating this person. Obviously, these conversations maybe aren't appropriate for a situationship. So
Yeah,
again, know the difference, ladies. Know the difference whether you're in a
and
relationship
know
or a
what you want, right?
situationship.
Like, cause some women want situationships, some men want
Yeah,
situationship.
absolutely.
Like,
There's
so
nothing wrong
if
with
you
it.
want that, then live your life, do what you got to do. But if you want commitment, which is what our topic is, um, yeah, this is not the advice we're gonna give for a
Mm-mm.
situationship. We're talking about,
And be honest with somebody if you are in a situationship or if that's what you
oh
want
yeah,
and that is, just how you're living your life for the moment. That's fine. But be honest with the other person and let them know I am not looking for anything
yeah,
serious or committed right now, and that'll help a lot of unhealthy situations,
yeah,
stalkers, and
yeah.
crazy people, crazy people.
Yeah. So in conclusion, I think on this topic, the wait time for commitment as a man, I feel is you should know within a year if what type of woman you're dealing with, and if this is the type of woman that you move forward with. You said something earlier that engagement should last a long time, or it could last a long time, or it depends on relationship. I'm gonna say as a man, if you don't have the money, finances, or you're not in a position that you can get married within 2 years, a year or two, after proposing, then you're not probably not ready to propose. So I wouldn't put yourself in that position to get engaged or be in a relationship because relationships they do cost and it is um, a financial adjustment that comes with being in a relationship. So if you're not prepared to pay for a wedding, or if you don't have the parents that are going to pay for the wedding for you, or if you're not in that situation, hold off on proposal, hold off on engagement, date. Date. Hey, I'm not ready for marriage yet, but I'm working my way up. I'm in a position in life where I'm trying to build myself, and you be honest with people, whoever you're dating, and I think that helps a lot. Just being honest with a woman is going to give you more than if you try to finesse her or lie to her.